hello, hello. Welcome to another Wednesday live stream talk. And today we will have this conversation about holidays. We were thinking about something else, but at, in in a rush, I thought, okay, maybe we should talk about holidays and funny situations in holiday, remarkable situation in holidays because summer is coming, the sunny weather, and I think it's time to talk about holidays. So before
Yeah,
so
you
one
can't
thing I
find
need to
one.
my holidays it's English classes. Shame on me. Shame on me. So before start the conversation, let's introduce our crew to the world. So Harper, let people know who you are and where you are.
My name is Harper, and I am currently live in southern Arizona in the U.S.
Really good. How are you doing? Fine.
I am doing outstanding.
Perfect. 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 And by Harper's side, we have from Belgium, Chris. How are you, Chris?
Hello, I am fine. I am Chris. I am a care teacher at an Antwerp vocational school, and I like live streaming. So this is my perfect day.
Perfect, perfect. And below Chris, we have Stephen. Stephen, how are you?
I thought you were going to Nick then. I was got caught out. My name is Stephen. I work for BeLive. I'm based in Wiltshire in England, and I love live streaming, which is why I'm here today.
Well, I don't know why, Stephen, your background reminds me about the Wizard of Oz. Somewhere over the rainbow.
The sun's shining in England today.
So good. So good. So now we have Maria. Maria, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine. What a beautiful day. I'm having so much fun with all of you. And today on Amazon, yay, I always wanted to do that. And I'm from Ontario, Canada, Niagara Falls, Ontario. And I also use BeLive, an ambassador for BeLive. And thank you, Stephen. I mean, Stephen introduced me to it, and I just love it. Everyone should be buying it. I don't know if you can buy it on Amazon, but I'm going to give it a plug right now. Absolutely. It's the way to stream. Thank you.
Perfect, perfect. And last but not the least, the man who his own name, his also his nickname.
I know. My parents were just so advanced. They thought of everything. And it really was cool of them. Yeah, I am Nick Wood. I'm from sunny Farnborough in England, the home of British aviation. Not a lot of people know that. And yes, Stephen's right. The sun has come out in the UK. Absolutely, of course it would. I bought a new ring light for the show, and the sun comes out. But ring lights are available on Amazon.
Absolutely.
That's where I got mine.
I don't know if I have any in the carousel, but it's not the point. So today we're going to talk about holidays. For those of you who are joining in Amazon, please, you can check the things underneath in the carousel, and we will talk about something else. So I will start, and today I will kick off with the conversation, and I will ask funny situations in holidays, and I'm going to talk about something that happened to me in my own country. Okay, one it was in Lisbon. It was in the same. It's funny because it was in the same day in Lisbon. First, I was approached by someone trying to sell me weed. Okay, and the funny thing, they were speaking to me in English. So I look a foreigner in my own country. How disappointing could this be? Okay, well, maybe because I'm a little more tall than average here in Portugal.
Yes.
So I was walking around in Lisbon, okay, and someone approached to me. Hello, do you want some? I say, no quero. And I answer in Portuguese. I say, "Oh." And in the same day, then I went to I think it was McDonald's, and I was in the queue line, and then it was my turn, and yes, sir, what do you want?
Interesting.
In English, in English,
Yeah.
and I answered in Portuguese, bem, eu quero. And so
Yeah.
I kick-started, and so now I'm throwing the microphone to Mr. Harper. Share with us. Okay, Stephen, you want the microphone? Come on.
Yeah, I'll volunteer for this one. Basically, I've been very fortunate to travel around the world twice, and one of the places we stopped off at was Fiji. Now, Fiji is a beautiful island, but it is third world, and you've got the five-star hotels, and you've got the people living in what we would call shanty towns, and the two are separate. The airport is a delight as a European tourist. It's exactly what we'd expect an airport to be, but as soon as you get out the door, you're out into the dusty street, and it's like a western because there are no tarmac roads. It's just all dust. But it's a beautiful place to go. And if you stop in a five-star hotel there, you can have a wonderful time. Now, we did the once, and you've got the situation, you've got a five-star hotel, you've got 3 swimming pools, you've got an island to walk around, and then you've got the sea. Now, you can see the fish on the edge of the ocean. And the ocean is not like it is in the UK. The ocean is clear, and you can see the fish. So, as a tourist, what do? You actually go out and you go snorkeling for the first time ever. Yeah, got talked into it. And I was swimming away. I was on my own, which is a foolish thing to do. And I didn't know there was a coral reef there. And I swam onto the coral reef, and I got caught.
Ooh.
And if you've ever tried to escape from coral, you can't, because as soon as you put your hand down, your hand gets cut. Yeah.
Ooh. Oh.
And so I spent it seemed like years to me, probably about 5 or 6 minutes, trying to get away from the coral. I was underwater, so I couldn't signal to anybody. And I got to the shore, and my partner then said, "You're bleeding." I had a gash all down my right-hand side, which the coral had ripped in. You don't notice it when you're underwater. And she said, "We'd best get you to the hotel had a clinic." And this voluptuous, I'm going to say, Fijian lady who was the nurse there said, "You've been in the sea, haven't you?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Come over here." And she coated one side of me with iodine, which stung like. And she said, "Don't do that again. Don't go in the sea on your own."
Yeah.
Wise words.
Coral will cut you
Fiji
easily.
is the only place I know where good morning is bula, and good night is bula. So
Same thing.
Can I say the other big giveaway though, Stephen, was you were wearing a pair of flippers and a mask and a snorkel.
I was. She could tell. I'd been out in the sea. Yeah, but a beautiful place. And once I'd recovered, got fond memories of it many years ago.
Yeah. Wow.
Perfect.
Wow.
Perfect. So now it's time to Harper. Now it's you, Harper.
Oh, goodness sakes. I don't know. An awkward thing is, I go overseas and like say to the Far East, and I'm a little bit tall, so I kind of look over everybody. And so I would
Don't come to Portugal because they will try to sell you weed.
I used to live in Washington State. It's legal there, and all my friends tried to do that, and I was like, no. But yeah, so I always get everybody going, "Can you tell me where this is?" They always want directions because I can see everywhere. So
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't live here. But if I go to the grocery store, there's almost every time I'll get flagged down by somebody. So, usually a little old lady going, "Can you hand me that on the very top of the shelf?" And of course, for me, it's eye level. I'm like, sure.
I know.
Where are you?
I feel like asking a short person, "Can you get that thing down there on the bottom shelf for me?" I can't reach that.
You'd be happy to do that. That's me. I'm always asking fellow people because I can't reach. I don't want it to fall on my head, right? And if the guy's not around, the people who work there, then I try and check out a tall woman or a tall man because I can't reach it, and I don't want to fall on my head, right? So thank you for your help, Harper. I thank you for all the short people.
Very good. Chris?
Well, the only thing I know, it's something from Greece that I have totally wrong done. And I had to cut my hair there. And in Greece, when you say no, it means yes. So when the hairdresser just I make it shorter, you say no. He thinks yes, and so you end very short.
Oh my God! Good one,
That's
Chris.
the thing from me.
We're going to call that the Greek excuse now. Yeah.
Yes.
I can afford to say yes.
Oh, good one. It's a good one.
Perfect. Nick?
Oh gosh, I've got a couple. I don't know, Marco. How risky can we go? How risque can we go?
Ooh.
Try me.
Oh, okay. One of the funniest things, and a tad embarrassingly, there was a whole load of us when I first went to Germany. We were all single, and about 10 of us decided, girls and boys, to go and have a week in Gran Canaria. Perfect. What could possibly go wrong? So of course, that was all fine and dandy, and me and one of the girls, Ali, who's a very, very good friend, particularly now, but we were just friends at the time, and we just used to go out and we'd go to all the bars and we'd do karaoke's, and we would get incredibly drunk. And there's one part in Gran Canaria that all the bars shut at a certain time, apart from the Jumper Centre, which is the gay place, and they stay open a bit later. So all our friends would then go, and we'd say, "All right, we're off to the gay bars," and we would just have a good time and get more drunk. And that was all we did, all holiday, until the very last night. And we went, and so we were a little bit drunk. And then Ali says to me, "Come on, Nick, we haven't done anything naughty all week. Let's go down to the beach and have some fun." So, being a gentleman and obviously a lady I can't refuse, so I said, "Well, absolutely, of course." So we did, and we went in the sea and had a lovely time. But then when we came out, we'd left some clothes and Ali's handbag on this little bench.
Oh dear.
Handbag has gone. Oh, woe is me. That we had to sober up and get ourselves together quite quickly. Like, what can we do? Let's go and report it to the police station. At least then you can get your insurance. Mm-hmm. Was my genius idea at about 4:30 a.m. So we went to this place. Well, it had a bluey, greeny kind of crossing, and in my rather disoriented view, I thought that was a police station. So we went there, and it had some lights. So we were banging on the door and knock. And then eventually this lady came to the door and told us it was a polyclinica. It's like, polyclinica, not police station. So we had to go. So she told us where the police station was, and we went and did that. So that was my funniest little holiday tale, I think.
Do you have a second one?
No, that was our last night. Oh, second story. Sorry. The other one, very slightly like Stephen's story. I went to learn to scuba dive in Dominican Republic. I can't remember why, but it was like a treat for myself. I can't remember what I'd done, but I thought if I do this thing, then I'll go and have myself a holiday in Dominican. And so I was on my own, met some lovely people, went and learned to scuba dive, did it in the pool, did it. The first time we went, and they will say to you, you know, if something goes wrong, don't go straight back up the top because you get the bends and all that. So we were we were going down, and I took a huge. We could have only been about 10 foot under the water, I think, and I took this huge glug of water. But all the things about grab your spare, all that went out the window. I was up like a cork. I've never gone so fast in my life. So obviously good under pressure. But luckily my dive buddy, because we always go in pairs, Stephen. She came up a little bit slower than me, made sure I was okay, and then eventually, after the palpitations had stopped, you know, and then looking like a complete idiot in front of this very nice-looking instructor, we then went back down again, and all was well. But to this day, when I go diving, I grip that mouthpiece like or just like lockjaw.
Maria.
Wow. You know what? I've vacationed all over the world. I've traveled all over the world. But I'm just going to talk about what I've enjoyed. And it's funny because I was on Facebook today and something popped up for Grand Lake, I think it's called Grand Beach, and it brought back so many memories. That's in Manitoba, because I'm born and raised in Manitoba, but now I live in Ontario, and I had the loveliest times camping there, because that's what you do in Canada. You go camping, and we would camp 2 months out of the year. So my dad would go back and forth to work. He'd come, every weekend. We were in our tents there, living there like little Indians, right? I mean, we were just running around with my mom and having a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time. But those are the happiest memories. And it's interesting, everyone, that when I thought about Grand Beach, I could smell the water, I could smell the sand, I could see everything. It's amazing. But it's interesting because when I was looking for the items that are in the carousel, Marco, that brought more memories because of the tent that I put on there. I had a lot of different kinds of tents. And then, of course, the Coleman stove, which that's how you cooked, right? So it's wonderful just being able to do this with you, Marco, because it brings back so many memories. But my loveliest times were in Manitoba, going from provincial park to provincial park. We were pitching our tent, and we lived there for 2 months out of the year, which was lovely. So great memories. Thanks for the memories, Marco.
Perfect. So talking about memories, maybe to talk about our most remarkable holidays. And let's start again with Mr. Steven.
Yes.
Without remarkable holidays without injuries.
Without injuries, yeah.
Yes.
That knocks a lot of them out.
In a past life, I was a software designer, and I wrote software for manufacturers and for distributors. And long story short, somebody in Australia bought the software, which meant that we had to go out there and train people. And that started my love affair with Melbourne. Melbourne is the most amazing place. You can get 4 seasons in one day. You can drive out the mountains. You can go down on the beach. You can get wet in the morning and be dry in the evening. And we stayed at a Novotel, which was close to the fun fair. And it was just, and the choice of food in Australia, they've got everything you could imagine. So we were a different restaurant every night. The Australian wine, of course, far better than French wine. I hope there's nobody from France listening. And you can totally switch off, because on the other side of the world, you've no worries or cares. All you got to do is train people during the day and take the night off and wine and dine. So Melbourne, Australia, is my favourite place to actually visit. We're able to go there for several years on the trot. And my son and daughter-in-law now live in Brisbane. And so I'm looking forward to visiting them They don't know it yet, but I am going to go.
I'm gonna tell them. Well, Maria,
Yes.
share your most remarkable holidays.
Oh, well, I've had so many of them. I've had them in Europe when I was living in Europe. I guess my most remarkable holiday was when I lived in Italy and Spain for 10 years. I mean, that was a real holiday. I mean, I was studying music, but I mean, I lived the lifestyle of the local natives, right? I learned the language, I dressed like them. They actually thought I was an Italian from up north because up north you have blondes, right? And they said to me, they said, so where are you from up north? And they never saw me as a Canadian because I just enmeshed myself. Mark, you would love me because I just enmeshed myself into the culture. I really enjoyed it. I really became part of it. So I would say the 10 years living in Europe was the most remarkable. The next spot would have been in the Dominican Republic, which was just fabulous with the ocean and the trees and everything, right? But I can talk about that next time. I'll let somebody else go into. But 10 years in Europe was my most remarkable holiday.
Chris,
Well, my most remarkable holiday was in Italy, in Firenze, where I was a student, and I had very cheap train tickets. So I had to sit the whole night on a little corner.
Yeah.
I haven't slept so much. I was there with many people, and I didn't know them. I had also a very little hotel with no comfort at all, but I liked the museums, and it was a great adventure. There were people with Vespa there. They have invited me for a tour around the city, but I didn't dare to do that. But that was the most remarkable holiday.
perfect. And by the way, if you wanna, there's a message here from Twitch. Want to
Yes.
become famous by followers and viewers on something. So if you
You're being spammed in the comments.
ask me. Okay, perfect. Next one, Harper, please.
Oh, let's see. Most of my vacations really weren't vacations; they were working within the military. But I would say the most memorable was probably when I had to when I went down to Perth. So I've been to Australia, but I haven't been to the site that I really wanted to go to. But I had a chance to go down and work with law enforcement in the capital of Perth, and so I mean it was really nice. I got to meet my first koala bear, and yeah, they have a worse attitude than my ex-wife's. But they're yeah. You picture them on TV as this little cuddly live teddy bear that you just want to give a hug, and no. It's like Chucky or something. I don't know. It's just yeah. So I was just like, okay, we had an agreement. You stay there, I stay here. We're good. Didn't get to box with the kangaroo or anything, but it was really nice being literal. I mean, I've been to the other side of the world, but actually being on the southern hemisphere is really nice. And Stephen, yes, I agree about the food. I mean, it's just there was no just anything that we've ever had here in the States. It's I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this. The Far East. I don't really get too adventurous when it comes to food because I like to at least identify what I'm eating. But Australia was awesome. So, and now I'm not adventurous. Now that I've kind of gone many places, I'm not adventurous with food anywhere. I go to a restaurant. I know exactly what I'm getting every time.
Well, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, true. Well done.
Nick.
I think the most remarkable holiday, just for staying alive, actually, I think has to go
Oh my.
we went. Well, we again, when we lived in Germany, everything seemed a lot closer. So we just decided that for New Year, a few of us would go to Sol in Austria. It was nice. We knew there was snow there, and we got a hotel, no problem. Drove down there, lovely. And my wife Debbie is not a keen skier at all. So she just loiters around the towns and stuff. And so that was good. Me and my friend Phil. We used to think, we could, as long as it was pisted, we could get down any run. If we had any colour, so black runs weren't a problem. As long as it was pisted, we were okay. So we got this. We were doing this one late afternoon, and we hadn't done it before. We're going along, and it got to a bit where you can have a choice. You can go this way or that way. And there's a big sign one way saying, "For very experienced skiers only." So I looked at Phil. Phil looked at me, and we thought, in for a penny, in for a pound. Let's go down that way. Oh my goodness. Phil made it. He just had a couple of little crashes, and he made it down to the bottom. I was going down, and I crashed. And my skis, but normally they stay fairly near you, but I went a long way off. And so I was lying there on a very, very steep section, and in snow boots, it's really difficult to walk. Anyway, this ski guy comes along, making it look like so easy, and said, "Oh, I'll collect your skis and I'll put them at the bottom for you." Okay, I said. And then I tried to stand up, and you just slid. And I was like, okay. Oh. And then people were going past me, and several people just totally stacked it on this bit and were flying off the end. And how they weren't breaking bones, I don't know. So I'm thinking, this is tricky. So there was some like trees over to my left. So I thought, right, what I need to do is hurl myself down and hit the tree. So I went from tree to tree, a big snow machine with some netting into that. Eventually got my way down, but it took me ages. And they were beginning to shut the slopes. They were saying, time to get off the slopes now. My poor wife, everyone else has gone, and my poor wife is waiting, thinking, what on earth has happened to me? So I eventually rock up. Thank goodness, at the same day, earlier on, I'd bought a helmet. So that was the best decision I made. So I got down, and there was like, this helmet was just caked in ice. She's like, she gave me such a hard time. Where have you been? She said, stuck up a mountain, funny enough. He was like,
but at least you can say you went down that run.
I did. I went down that run. It wasn't pretty, but fair play to the guy. He did actually leave the skis at the bottom, and I did ski down the rest of the mountain after I got past this particularly tricky bit. But yeah, no, I really thought I was stuck. I was just like, I thought, how on earth am I going to get down without just picking up speed and killing myself at the bottom? Yeah. So this rather weird zigzag was the answer.
So you became a tree hugger, Nick.
Massive tree hugger, massive tree. But there's a plus point, because the next day I said to Phil, I'm going to get some lessons. So there was a guy doing like an hour's lessons, an old guy. So I rang him up and I said, "Oh yeah, could I have a lesson?" And Phil said to me, he goes, "Oh," he said, "I've never had a lesson either. Can I come too?" I said, "Yeah, come on, let's go." We went there, and this lovely old guy, and he says to us, he said, "Show us what you have." So we did a bit of skiing. And he said to us, he goes, he said, "What are those things in your hands?" And we said, "Oh, ski poles, He said, "You obviously don't know what they're for." So he actually taught us how to turn using on our poles, and gave us some drills, which in fairness gave us a lot more control. So the next few days we were very controlled. But then we got really bored of that and just went flying down the mountain again, like we used to, because it was like, yeah, that's okay for a couple of days, but suddenly it was like, nah, let's go.
Yeah, most people who begin skiing, they think that that's just for balance. It's like, no, that's so you can lift your skis off the ground and face them this way.
Yeah, well, and actually, in fairness to Phil, we'd used his ski poles once because he dropped one. And then we used the other one. We went back up on this lift and dropped it to notice where the other one was. And then we had to go up again because he had a pink hat, and we dropped that because every time we went back down, we couldn't see where we dropped the poles. Yeah. So we were used to skiing without poles. in fairness, but
Yeah.
oh, well. I like a bit of danger on my holidays, Marco.
Going to say that. Yeah.
Well, I'm fair.
Who's gonna tell? Who's gonna tell?
Well, now he's told the whole world, Marco. He's told the whole world now.
Well, my favorite place to holidays, it's in the northern Spain, in the Galician coast. It's a very quiet place. It's not a crowded place. It's kind of 400 kilometers from here. I don't know how, maybe 250 miles from here. Okay, but it's a nice travel. Good food, sea, lots of sea. That's a good thing about living here in Iberia. We have lots of sea wherever we go, mostly, and nice food, nice people. For instance, I was there for the first time. I think it was 10 years ago, and since then, I think I only missed 2 years going there. Okay,
Wow.
and there was a year that I went there 2 times.
You loved it.
Yeah,
Or the food.
well, the food is good, yes, but and I may be suspicious, and this will be the next topic, which was the place where you eat better in your holidays. Okay, let's have in mind. I think none of you ever been in Portugal, so this you were, and I'm controlling the room. If you're not saying the best food was from Portugal, I don't know what may happen. Maybe silence. I can kill you.
It sounds like Peter.
So yes, but there's and for instance, I was talking with a Spanish friend, and I said, for those kind of snacks, they and Maria will know that for sure, tapas, which are very
I know tapas.
Yes.
yeah,
I love them.
I know.
I love tapas.
They're amazing. There's no other place in the world to eat tapas like Spain. They are amazing, very tasty. But
Oh,
for real food,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Portuguese food it's in the top 3 in the world. Okay, so let's start by Nick and share his foodie experience.
Ooh.
No,
Makes
no,
me hungry.
I used to go to Portugal quite.
Hope there's no any risk when you go
No,
eat.
no. This is a totally clean story. No one was accosted. No drunkenness. But no, we used to go. My parents had a timeshare in Portugal, and I don't know how it all worked, but basically they just had more weeks than they could ever use, and so they used to say, oh look, if you want to just take a week in Portugal, go for it. So and so yeah, Debbie and I did. We used to have a week a year over down in just outside Albufeira.
Oh.
And you got all the touristy bits and everything, but I'm a bit of a foodie. I love food, as you might notice. And I said to Debbie one day, I said, look, I fancy something really let's go really Portuguese. Let's go find somewhere that's really local, and so we did. And so we found this restaurant, and it was really off the beaten track, and a lovely guy, the most welcoming man you could imagine, really lovely. And he said, yeah, tonight, he said, we've only really got rabbit, some fricassee rabbit and rabbit stew. And he said that's because they just basically produced what they had that day. So I was like, oh, cool, yeah, no problem. I like that idea. Not good with my wife though. So I had a lovely meal, but unfortunately Debbie, and she's quite vocal when she's unhappy. really wasn't as appreciative of the kind of peasanty rabbit that I was. I thought it was brilliant. I loved it, but no, to Debbie, she wanted proper napkins and food she thought was edible, and she didn't consider rabbit edible. But I wouldn't let her, I didn't, we were in the back end of nowhere, so it would have taken us ages to get to a different restaurant. So I said, look, I'm hungry. have another wine, love. So yeah, so that was my favorite food experience actually on holiday. So yeah, it was in Portugal.
I was fortunate enough. Toyota, who we all know, were building a new factory in Derby in the UK, and it was going to produce certain things which were needed by the Toyota vehicles. And they said, "We'd like the look of the software you've done. Will you come out to Nagoya?" Which is behind me now, of course, because we've been to Melbourne. We're now in Nagoya. Will you come out for 10 days to Japan, all expenses paid? All you have to do is turn up. And we said, well, sure.
Why not?
The idea was that we went to the factory in the morning and we trained them in using the software. And we had 2 interpreters, which was good. So we actually understood each other. Their English was reasonable. But one of the sessions was, it was like dueling banjos. The head of the Japanese delegation would say something in Japanese. It would be translated to me. Then I'd have my go. So we had a 3-way discussion going on. But in the evening, they said, right, okay, we're going to take you out. And he took us out to what looked like a warehouse in the middle of nowhere. And we went in, the drinks as you actually entered. And as I say, we were treated royally all week. And they said, right, okay, we're going to start now. And you all sit at tables. Imagine a German beer keller. It's the same thing, but it's in Japan. And you're not drinking German beer, you're drinking Japanese beer, which is okay. And they served this beautiful, and I'd never seen it before, this beautiful fresh tuna. And it was on all the sections of the table. This wasn't the tin stuff. This was actual tuna caught that day. So you've got a bowl and you help yourself. So Marilyn and I had 3 bowls of tuna. I thought, what a fantastic meal this is. And they said, no, it's only the starter. By that point, we were so full that one thing you can't do in Japan is lose face. So after the meal, we staggered out and we were just trying to get back to our hotel. But there is a second story. You know, still in Japan, in the James Bond films, where they actually sit in a Japanese restaurant and everybody's sat sort of cross-legged on the floor and the table's about yay high. Okay. So it's very James Bondish, and you've got 3 of the managers from Toyota, and you've got 3 from the UK, and we sat opposite each other. And of course, no interpreter that night, so we tried to sort of get on with each other and chat to each other in pidgin English. And then they said, right, okay, now what we've arranged tonight is a very special banquet for you. And this is the first course. Well, the first course arrived on the table, center of the table. And of course, you know, you get your bowl and you scoop it out. And it was moving. Those fish were alive. And you looked at it and you thought, So fortunately, in our team was James. Now James will eat anything, yeah. So he did his own portion, then he did Marilyn's portion, then he did my portion. But that was an evening to remember because it was just totally amazing.
Oh wow! Wow!
Gosh.
And that's why I say when you go to the Far East, I'm not.
So I quite like the idea of the food jumping on your fork and then you can eat it.
Try to
Close your eyes. Don't look.
Stephen, was that little fish like minnows? Was that fish?
It was alive. It was fish.
No, but was it fish? though? Was it fish? It was
No,
alive.
It was fish eggs, but they were alive.
Oh, fish eggs. Okay. Yeah.
They were definitely alive.
Yeah, you'll have like small squid or octopus that'll be.
Yeah. Going
Oh,
down.
Climbing.
that's
Yeah.
another
Put,
story for
you
another
put the
time.
sauce on them and they move, and I think nope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Harper.
Our big thing is when we go out, we travel like to other states here. We like our big thing is barbecue. We like to find a good barbecue spot, and like going around. It's for you guys in Europe. It's the same as like going from how different the food is going from Germany to France to Spain. It's just as different going from state to state, and every different region here in the U.S. has a different recipe for barbecue, and like some have more of a vinegar taste and everything. So it's really and Shelley she's born and raised in Texas, and so obviously Texas barbecue to her is number one. And so it's kind of she sets the bar really high because Texas barbecue is really good, but then everybody says, oh, our barbecue is the best. Well, of course you're going to say it's the best. You're going to say, try ours. Ours is worse. Ours is the worst in the country, but yeah, so that's kind of our thing is to find a good barbecue spot anywhere we go. We drive over to the West Coast to San Diego, California. We found a really good barbecue spot there. And in fact, we had it for dinner the first night and we went back for lunch the next day and had more barbecue. It was actually that good. So,
Wow. I love barbecue too.
But nothing moved.
Yeah, you sure that steak didn't move?
Right?
It used to move, but not move.
Oh, okay.
Maria.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I love the food all over the world. I'm such a foodie. I would say the one that I really was surprised by, really enjoyed, and was really introduced to fine cuisine was in Italy, of course. And I remember sitting in a restaurant. I was just new in Italy, maybe a year. And we went to a beautiful restaurant and I had octopus and scampi and pasta, with different kinds of fish. Like I'll never forget that. I mean, here you are smelling the sea, of course, the Mediterranean, and you're sitting there enjoying the view and having this wonderful food with some wine. Like, oh my God, like I just love Italian food. And you know what? I've never tried Portuguese, Marco. I'd love to do that because I would. You have to do, Marco. Send me a recipe. Which is really typical of Portugal. I mean, that's what I love is the typical food. And once again, I was the same thing when I was in Italy. I was learning how to cook Italian food. Got all the recipe books, and so yeah, I mean, I would say that was the most memorable in my life. And I've had lots, but Italy, absolutely Italy. Thumbs up. Thanks,
Chris.
Well, I am a great food lover. I love French and Belgian food, but also the food from Greece and from Italy too.
Yes.
And in Italy, when I was in Firenze, I have done a mistake. I am a medievist, and so I know that one of the great professors of Italy from medieval ages is cipolla. But I didn't know what means the word cipolla in Italian. Perhaps Maria knows.
Yes, I know.
So I see on the menu card, pizza cipolla. I think that's the pizza for me. Didn't know that cipolla was onion. So I have had a pizza margarita with cheese and tomato and full of onions. That was not a good idea.
You learn fast.
Yes, I learned that. I will never forget that cipolla is an onion.
Yeah, perfect. It's kind of similar here in Portugal and Spain. In Portugal, is cebola.
Cipolla,
Yeah.
It's similar. It's the same roots, Latin roots.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I have to say, Nick was in Algarve. Next time, Nick, go for the fish.
Yeah,
Grilled fish.
I do like a
Grilled
snoddy.
fish
Grilled fish.
with olive oil.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I could talk about the northern food, which is where I live, but it's not holiday food for me. It's
Mhm.
all day food for me. Okay.
No, Marco, I have had a lot of fish down in the Algarve, and it is, yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful fish.
Yeah.
Well, if it's beautiful or not, it's not the point. It's tasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the next, we are almost finished, but Chris brought a good topic to the conversation, which is this language misunderstandings. Uh, Besides that one, Chris, do you have any other situation where the communication? Well, you already talked about two. Do you have a third situation where the communication didn't flowed
No.
well?
No.
Yes, but that was not on vacation. That was at school, and it has become a joke. But it was a real happened story. One of our teachers ran into my office. I'm a care teacher, so when teachers have problems, they could run into my office. Students too. And he said, "Oh, how cheeky my students are." I scolded Sven, and he said, "Hey man, go to the devil." And I asked him, "And what did you do?" "I came immediately to you," he said. So I'm the devil.
Well, he's the devil. Okay. Poor Chris. You don't support. You don't. I don't think of you as the devil.
Yeah, I think it's a little.
Somehow cute. Ooh, I love that.
Stephen.
Oh.
I can't really remember any problems. French, German are okay. My Portuguese, I'm still learning, as Marco knows. He's keeping track of my progress. I've got to start yet, so he's not had much to do. Yeah, I don't have any. No. I've where I go somewhere, I do try to learn a language before I go. Yeah, and Germany's not a problem because I've got a great German tutor. France, France, we were fortunate to go down to the south of France and Nice 10 years on trot, and you actually pick up the language whilst you're there. So, no, I'm good on languages, he said. Apart from Japanese, I suppose.
Yeah, what was the name of those moving fish?
I can count to 10.
Wait,
in Japanese.
Oh.
Maria.
Oh my goodness. No, I can't say that. I mean, like I love learning different languages. Who has the time? I mean, that's the problem, right? I mean, that's what they say, learn a language when you're young, early in your life rather than you're later, because it gets involved with everything else. And, it's easier to learn a language when you're younger. But no, I mean, I wish I could learn languages, Marco. I mean, that's something, I'm going to tell you something really interesting. I mean, I was born into an immigrant family. My mother spoke Italian, my father spoke Polish. We all spoke English, but they spoke 5 languages each. Between my mother and my father, they spoke each other's language. So when I was in school, it's so interesting. And when I was young, of course, I learned those languages, but then I stopped using them. The teacher said to my mother, Maria will never learn French. And I thought, how stupid was that woman, right? I mean, come on. I had polyglots at home, and of course, I went for French, and it was intensive, immersive, and I learned it very easily. And when I was in Italy, you're gonna love this. I was reading a different book in a different language every single week. And they were like all the classic writers from France, from England, from Russia, from Italy, and I read them, even Spanish. I read them in a different language on purpose, so I would be forced to use my dictionary to learn the language. So I mean, like, I have that natural knack, loved it. But I've, like Stephen, I mean, I admire you that you continue still to study it. I don't have the time for that, but I can put a show on and watch it if I wanted to, But you know what? I don't think 100 years of our life is enough. I think we need to live 200 years to be able to do
At least.
really, So, yeah. It's all been fun.
Perfect. Mr. Nick, I'm pretty sure that you have something to say about this.
Well, no, I'll tell you what. I'm not. Actually, I'm pretty good at languages. Obviously, I lived in Germany for nearly 15 years, so I picked up a little bit of German, and I learned French at school. It's interesting because my sister used to live in the south of France, and so if you go, I went and spent 3 weeks with her a few years ago, and after about 2 weeks, it's amazing what your memory just triggers all these words that you've totally forgotten. But then they all come flooding back eventually, and it's a little like German. I'm in a group where they every now and again we have like a 90-day video challenge, and this is a global group, and a lot of people English is their second language. There's a lot of Germans in there, and I actually said, I'm going to do a live video and do it in German, just to try and remind myself of how to speak it. And it was really interesting because I thought, crikey, I'm butchering your language here again. But actually, the feedback wasn't too bad. It was quite good. But it was like the next day, 24 hours later, I just had this flood of German words popping in my head. Absolutely amazing ones that I'd not used since I've been back about 6 years. So that was really fun. But one of the again, going back to the holiday in Gran Canaria, the guys in this karaoke bar we used to go to, they just thought I was German. And that was, they were so stunned. And of course, we didn't tell them that I wasn't. They made that assumption, so that was totally okay. But I'll tell you when it was. It was the same time England beat Germany 6-1 in Germany. And I mean, don't get me wrong. The Germans then went to the World Cup final and lost the final, and we got knocked out, I think, in the group stages. But for one night, it was great. So, of course, like any Englishman would do, you put on your England football shirt the next night, proud as you are, walked into this bar, and the DJ bar owner was like, on the mic, "Oh my God, I can't believe what I'm seeing. A German wearing an England football shirt." Alles klar, okay, yeah.
Just tell him you lost a bet.
Yeah,
There you go.
At the end of the holiday, when we actually did say, I am actually English, and they're like, "No way! Even on karaoke, you sing with a German accent." I really don't. That's just my bad singing.
Good stuff.
Yeah. No, I'm quite good at languages, quite like that. And like Stephen, I do like to, even no matter where I go, I do like to try and at least know a few phrases and words.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I think people just appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Absolutely. Yeah. Before jumping to Harper, let's thank Emily because she started following me. Thank you so much, Emily. A big shout out to Emily. Thank you for tuning in.
Well done,
and
Emily.
Harper, let us know the miscommunication situation you went through.
Well, mine was in high school. Well, we had a lot of we do foreign exchange with students, high school students in Europe, Asia, South America, stuff like that, from all over. And when I was in I took 3 years of German in high school, and so we had a couple German foreign exchange students that I had befriended, and so they're helping me with learn words and stuff like that. And I should have known better because I had to give a report and stuff like that. And they said, well, here you want to use this word and you want to use this word, and it really adds a little more impact to it. I was like, oh, okay. So I wrote it up and I memorized it that way. And yeah, it didn't. I thought the eyes on the German teacher was going to pop out of her head when I said it, and had a straight face. And she was like all frantic. And afterwards, she goes, "Come here," and obviously in German. That's when I went there, and she asked me, "Where did you learn those words?" And I told her, so and so and so and so, and she goes, "No. Don't ever say those words." Of course, now I'm like, well, what do they mean? I want to know now. Yeah. So you have to kind of watch when kids are kids. You're like, oh, I want to learn all the bad words. And but yeah.
funny. That's a good one.
Never fell for that again. Oh, tell somebody this. I get people that tell me, if you see somebody in Spanish, say this. I'm like, no. I already know that.
Harper, I can teach you some amazing words, compliments in Portuguese. Do you want?
I bet you can.
Compliments, just compliments,
Yeah, compliment. You look like a
perfect. I have a story. It's not a story of mine. It was a story. Unfortunately, a friend of mine which passed away a few years ago. He came from India. He was working in a suit factory close to here, and so he came from India. And one of the things that people like to eat on India, it's very spicy food, strong food, like cebolas. So he came to the restaurant and he asked a salad. I'm going to tell in Portuguese and then I will explain in English. He asked at the restaurant uma salada de cabelo. Cabelo, cebola. Okay?
Okay.
It's not so different. But the difference is translating cebola is onion, as I said before. Cabelo, it's hair.
Oh. Ooh.
The guy at the restaurant was kind of, what?
Are you sure you want that?
So that was a funny story about this amazing guy. He passed away suddenly a few years ago. But talking now about good things, the last roundup of this show. Next, holidays destination. Stephen.
England. We've no choice.
Well, after COVID.
Okay.
Well, you can come to Portugal. We are in the green list.
Yes, I know. Okay, my next holiday would be in Schutthof in Germany, which is where Angelica family live, and we go there. We spend 2 weeks there, and a side trip to Berlin would be handy too.
Okay, perfect. Maria.
Oh my goodness. Quite frankly, I'd like to go a little bit more in Canada. Quite frankly, I mean, I'd love to go up north, and instead of taking a tent, I don't do tenting anymore. Just stay in a nice hotel or motel and just enjoy and hike all over the place. So that's what I'm looking forward to. We can't move again, just like Stephen, we can't. We're in complete lockdown. And it's been extended until June the 2nd, and I can see it being extended even longer than that at this point. But yeah, I'd love to go up north and just enjoy, the beautiful lakes we have there. So yeah, that's my next trip.
Perfect. Chris. Well, she already has the tickets.
I don't have the tickets, but I have this. This is a product from Amazon that I will use on my next holiday. And my next holiday will be in Bruges, where there is a friend of mine who has an auction house, and I will going to make a reportage, an interview with him, with these marvelous things that you can buy on Amazon.
Oh, I love
it. It's the Saramonic Blink Pro B4. So you have 2 receivers and 1 transmitter for doing interviews. And that will I do with my gimbal also from Amazon, an Osmo 3. And with my iPhone, but he is not from Amazon, he is from a local shop here, because I want the guy does everything so I can use it immediately. I'm not a technical people, so I didn't risk that to buy it on Amazon, but all the rest I did, and that will be great.
Perfect. Harper.
I feel really bad, but we're not even here in Arizona. We're not even locked down at all. We don't even wear masks anymore.
Wow.
But our next trip is going to be in August. We're going up to Washington State. My daughter is getting remarried, and so we're going up there, and it'll be interesting because they are still kind of locked down. So it's like we're gonna, I don't know. So we'll see how it goes, but it'll be interesting. See, maybe see some friends, maybe not. It just depends on how we feel. Just hang out with the daughter and the new son-in-law. So, and of course my grandson. So,
Nice.
Perfect.
Very nice.
Now it's my turn.
Yes.
I will go to Spain, to my favorite place, because last year I couldn't make it. And well, the thing is, it's not just about the place itself. It's about the friends I made there. When you go to a place, because the first time I went there was because I met some people from there here in my hometown. They brought a performative theater they made there, and then they invited us to visit when they played that perform in their home. So I went there. I felt in love with that place, and then uh, I go there. It's for me. It's kind of a second home because the the landscapes are amazing. The people are amazing. The food is amazing. So I have more than amazing reasons to go there. And last but not least, before Mr. Healy made the wrap up, because I think Nick has a rabbit in the hat. Your next destination, Nick.
Next destination, it is probably going to be Portugal, I would imagine.
Oh.
Yeah, back down in the Algarve again. Yeah, it's a nice and easy. It's one of those things we know it very well now, but it's just lovely. We just walk everywhere. We tend to just cook ourselves, so it's lovely.
Sure.
Yeah, really nice.
Yeah.
Perfect. Hello, Jeffrey. Jeffrey is asking Maine or Florida. I think this question is to Harper.
Maine or Florida?
Yes.
I'm not sure what the question is.
Yeah. Pick one.
I'm in Arizona and Washington State, not Washington D.C. So when I was growing up, the tourism, the whole line for Washington State tourism was Washington, the other Washington.
Jeffrey here on Amazon is saying that he can't pick Portuguese. It sounds like Russian to me. It's kind of little different.
Just a little bit.
Sounds like Brazilian to me. It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Well, it's different. Our Portuguese, it's way different, and it's kind of normal when you compare, and you can make this kind of comparison when you listen to British English and American English. And for instance, even though it could be from Canada or United States, it sounds different.
Oh yeah.
Usually for foreign people, those American adaptations of the idioms are easier to learn. Portuguese from Portugal and Portuguese from Brazil, it's the same. Maybe you can't notice. And Spanish from Spain and Spanish from Venezuela, it's the same.
Mexico, yeah.
They say certain words differently, though, Marco, because I studied Spanish, and I lived in Spain, and the Spanish words in Mexico are some of them are completely different, and they say them differently. You can tell the difference when they're speaking between a real Spanish person from Spain and a Mexican speaking Spanish. I've noticed it.
For instance, Mexican Spanish. There are so many typical expressions from there that it's easy to tell. And for instance, from Argentina and Uruguay as well, they have just a few things. For instance, for those people who knows speak Spanish, there's a sound which is ll, which is
Yes.
two L's together.
Yes.
Usually, the Argentinian they spell it instead of ll, G.
Yeah.
Ah.
So it's easy to tell that they are Argentinian.
Yeah, most of our street names here in southern Arizona are all they're all Spanish names. So I don't speak any. I speak very little Spanish, but I can pronounce the words like you can't believe. People are like, oh, you speak Spanish? I'm like, only if I'm driving through Taco Bell. But you know,
That's pretty cool, though.
yeah.
No,
I'll
no
just randomly
practice.
listing off street names. They think I'm fluent. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Same thing up in Washington State. They're all Indian names. So
Interesting. Yeah.
American Indian, that is. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Yes. We understand that. Yeah.
Perfect. So, Mr. Stephen Healy, it's time to wrap up.
Thank you, Mark. You have been
You're welcome.
watching. Thank you. So kind. You have been watching Marco in Portugal, Harper in Arizona, Chris in Belgium, Nick and I in England, and Maria in Canada. From all of us, back at the same time next week. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's
Bye.
play
See you next
let's
week.
play the outro.
Yes.